focus on Georgia. They've been reopened for 27 days now. New virus cases have risen by over 17,000. Congressman Barry Loudermilk of Georgia joins us now. How do you feel about this? You opened up, what, 3-4 weeks ago, cases rise. Your answer to that?
Oh, we anticipated that there may be some rise, but the deciding factor for the governor was, did we have the hospital facilities to handle an increase in potential cases? Now, some of these cases that we're seeing an actual rise in cases is because we're doing more testing. Initially, there was some concern that we saw a rise as he was opening it up, but it was because previously, it was taking 2 or 3 weeks to get the test numbers back. Then all of a sudden, we get these tests that can come back in 48 hours, and you got the culmination of both of those coming together. But he could see that the new cases was plateauing. And so we are seeing an increase because of the number of tests going out. But the key is the hospitalization. We saw a 19% decrease in the amount of hospitalization in the past week. Prior to that, 34%. In fact, right now, the lowest number of hospitalized patients with COVID that we've seen in the state since this all started.
No going back for Georgia. You're going straight down that path, opening it up, right?
We are opening it up because, I mean, you were making the great points earlier, is that there is a health issue with this. I talked to a nurse just the other day who said the biggest issue they have right now are patients that are coming in, coronary patients, who should have come in to get a stent a few weeks ago, who couldn't, are now having to have open heart surgery, and they're staying in because they've gone too far. It's time for us to get the economy back going again. We had we always have a farmer's market in my small town here in the spring and the summer. This weekend was the first time they've opened it up this year. It was a record crowd of people there. It was almost like we're back to normal, and people are excited to be able to get out and get about their business again.
All right, what about getting people back on planes? I ask you this because I think you were a pilot, if I'm not mistaken. Delta plans to add, what, new flights, 200 extra flights scheduled in June so that they can spread people around a little bit. What do you think to that?
Well, I think it's great that people, look, you've got to put a level of trust in the American people that they want to be safe. And that's what we're doing here in Georgia, is like, let's open up the businesses. Businesses care about their customers, because if their customers don't feel safe and secure, they're not going to come to their business, and the business is going to go under. Delta is doing the same thing. Look, when I first flew, flew on Delta on the first few weeks going back to D.C., the Atlanta airport was a ghost town. It was scary. It was like, wow, we're in an apocalypse. Out of all of their checkpoints, only 2 were open and 2 people were in line ahead of me. When I flew to Washington, D.C. last week for the series of votes, I had to wait in line 15 minutes to check my bag. So you can see that people are getting out there. The majority of people wearing masks. Delta is requiring everyone on the plane to wear a mask. We're doing things like wiping down our seats, even though the airline is wiping them down. People know how to travel safely, and I think it's time to let people go out. Look, they're willing to take the risk. Let's do it.
We're opening up, and the pace of the opening up seems to me to be increasing. Congressman Loudermilk, thanks for joining us, sir. Always appreciate it.